Good evening and welcome to the news at 10. His Majesty King Abdullah and Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas held talks on the Palestinian Reconciliation Agreement reached in Cairo recently. His Majesty voiced Jordan's full support to the agreement, which will contribute to strengthening Palestinian unity. The King said the agreement is an important step to push forward the peace process and relaunching serious and effective negotiations between the Palestinians and Israelis on the basis of the two-state solution that would lead to establishing an independent Palestinian state with East Jerusalem as its capital. His Majesty emphasized that the Palestinian issue is the central issue and the core of the conflict in the region and always a top priority for the kingdom's foreign policy. The King also stressed that Jordan, as custodian of Islamic and Christian holy sites in Jerusalem, continues to play its historical role in protecting the city's holy shrines. Abbas praised His Majesty's efforts in defending the Palestinian issue and supporting the Palestinian people's right in all international forums. His Majesty King Abdullah welcomed at Al Husseiniya Palace Governor of the U.S. state of Utah, Gary Herbert, his wife, and an accompanying delegation for talks on Jordanian-U.S. ties. The meeting, attended by His Royal Highness Prince Faisal bin Hussein, also touched on means of forging closer cooperation between Jordan and the state of Utah in the energy, water, investment, and higher education sectors, as well as information security. They also discussed Middle East issues, efforts to push peacemaking forward, the Syrian refugee crisis and its repercussions on Jordan's economy, as well as counterterrorism efforts. Herbert is heading an economic delegation that will hold a series of meetings with Jordanian officials and businessmen to explore opportunities for joint cooperation between Jordan and Utah. Prime Minister Hani al-Mulki also met with the visiting U.S. governor, who will take part in an economic forum attended by Jordanian and U.S. businessmen. Al-Mulki highlighted the importance of the forum, saying it will help in achieving common goals and sustain economic ties between Jordan and the United States in general, and Jordan and the Utah business community in particular. Al-Mulki voiced Jordan's willingness to benefit from the U.S. experience in vocational and technical fields and expressed the kingdom's appreciation of the U.S.'s support of its development process. The governor of Utah praised partnership between Jordan and the United States, as well as the kingdom's efforts to promote democracy. Following talks between Minister of Foreign and Expatriate Affairs Ayman Safadi and Utah Governor Gary Herbert, the two sides signed a memorandum of understanding on promoting cooperation in infrastructure for energy and water. Utah is the 9th largest economy among U.S. states and is a pioneer in the fields of energy, technology, water, and education. Prime Minister Hani al-Mulki said the government has defined 5 reform priorities: administrative and educational reforms, enhancing the rule of law, labor market reform, and financial reforms, and has started their implementation. During a meeting with media representatives, Mulki said the government's vision is based on adopting comprehensive and not partial reforms and will not shelve problems or postpone tackling them to a later stage. The Prime Minister added that the government aims to reform the public sector, enhance accountability, and maintain the public sector's reputation. On educational reform, Al-Mulki noted a setback in education at various levels, including teaching methods, which he said could not be overlooked. And on the labor market and unemployment, the Prime Minister said that the government started the implementation of a 100 million JD program to create job opportunities and replace foreign laborers with Jordanian ones. Jordan welcomed the full liberation of the Syrian city of Raqqa and the collapse of Daesh terrorist group and its alleged caliphate. State Minister for Media Affairs Mohammed al-Momani said the kingdom will continue with its military and security role to fight Daesh within the global coalition. Momani said a political solution that preserves Syria's unity and sovereignty and meets the legitimate aspirations of the Syrian people is the real guarantor to sustain the defeat of Daesh and its dark ideology. The Eastern Military Zone Command, in coordination with the Anti-Narcotics Department and the Military Security Department, foiled an attempt by 5 people to cross the border from Syria and smuggle large quantities of drugs. A source at the Jordan Armed Forces Arab Army said rules of engagement were applied, which resulted in the injury of one of the suspects and the arrest of another. The remaining men fled back into Syria. Bags containing tablets of Captagon, hashish, tramadol pills, as well as ammunition were seized and transferred to the concerned authorities. In Syria, and after declaring victory over Daesh in Raqqa, U.S.-backed fighters said they captured a major oil field in Deir Zur province, pressing their offensive against the terrorists in the east of the country. The Syrian Democratic Forces said they took Al-Umar field in the eastern bank of the Euphrates River. SDF fighters are now moving to the front lines in Deir Zur, speeding up the battle in eastern Syria. The 5 living former U.S. presidents appeared together for the first time since 2013 at a concert at Texas A&M University to raise money for victims of the devastating hurricanes in Texas, Florida, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. Jimmy Carter, George H.W. Bush, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, and Barack Obama formed the organization One America to help with hurricane relief. The fund has raised more than $31 million so far. In a video statement shown at the fundraising concert, U.S. President Donald Trump praised his predecessors and thanked them for their work. The event features performances by artists Alabama, Lady Gaga, and the Gatlin Brothers.
About a million reasons if I could find a highway about California.
Let's all work together and make America still a greater volunteer nation. Thank you very much.
If we just do what we ought to do and prove that the heart of America.
In sports, Czech world number 3 Karolina Pliskova breezed past American Venus Williams in the opening match of the WTA Finals at the Singapore Indoor Stadium. 37-year-old Williams is making her first appearance since 2009 at the Elite 8-woman event, but her Czech opponent broke her serve early in the first set of the group match. In just 74 minutes, Pliskova won 6-2, 6-2. And finally, for a quick look at the weather, it remains relatively cool tonight across most parts of the country. Tomorrow, fair conditions are expected with a high of 24 degrees Celsius in Amman, slipping to 13 at night. The Gulf of Aqaba remains warm with mercury levels at 31, sliding to 22 in the late evening hours. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news. I'm Nancy Khair. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.